XRP has been trading range bound since 2021. And a lot of people are asking the question, what is going to be the thing to ultimately allow XRP to break out? In this video, I want to talk about the biggest thing weighing down XRP right now, when this is finally going to be over, and what kind of positive catalyst could be around the corner when we see this event finally play out. I believe this is absolutely critical in taking a lot of pressure off XRP and allowing large institutional adoption that we've been waiting for. Like always, your support means so much to this channel. Thank you to everyone who takes the time to like these videos and subscribe to the channel. These two simple things really do help me out. Also, if you ever need a place to buy some XRP, make sure to check out my favorite exchange Uphold down in the description of this video. With that said, let's jump right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. So I want to start this video off and just bring up what I believe is probably the most important XRP price chart right now, and that is XRP stuck in this massive symmetrical triangle. The reason why I think this is the most important chart is just because it is held true on so many different long-term time frames. As we can see, regardless of what charting, what TA you believe in, right, it is obvious there is some kind of support for XRP that is rising since 2021. XRP has slowly been making higher lows, but at the same time, it has been making lower highs as well. The price is consolidating. Now, the price isn't making any lows, the price isn't making highs, but ultimately, this is obviously going to change. In my opinion, an obvious indicator for where the prices go over the long term is the fundamental. Now, guys, I want to zoom in and take a closer look at the XRP price chart because I believe something fascinating is happening right now. So what we can see is XRP ultimately didn't have enough price momentum when the case ended to break out of this trading range. Now, I was hoping the excitement of the case ending would be enough, but ultimately we talked about why it might not be enough. And that's because this case can still be appealed. Personally, I don't think it will be appealed, but it's important to understand that the market wants the clarity. There is still uncertainty that this case could be still going on into the future. And therefore, for institutions, right, they see it as the case is still going until it cannot continue. The day it cannot continue, I believe that's going to be the moment where this case is dead and gone. But for now, it really still is lingering. Now, what I did was I marked on this price chart when we would actually get the case officially over with. And what you can see is that date is actually October 7th. That is the 60-day appeal window that the SEC would have to hit. The SEC is going to have to make a choice to appeal this case or not by that October 7th date. Now, I've talked about this ad nauseum in my last couple of videos, but ultimately, I don't think the SEC is going to appeal because the case is so bad. The SEC has better cases. They got a partial win in this case. Why don't they just frame this as their win? Why don't they move forward saying this is a win? We got the win against Ripple. They need to pay for institutional sales of XRP. They need to register those sales going forward, right? So the SEC did get a win here, and I believe they're not really going to get anything else out of the case. Ultimately, Judge Torres decided via dicta XRP is not the security, and the SEC can't appeal that. So there's not a lot left for the SEC to really fight for in this case. Ultimately, we'll see what happens, but I believe XRP is waiting for this appeal date to come around before it makes its decision on whether or not it is going to ultimately break out to the upside. I think it could be highly probable XRP keeps trading sideways within this thing until we get to this date and we get to that final resolution date, or when this case is officially gone and behind us. Like I said, unfortunately, up until now, this case has been holding us back, and big institutions are looking at it like, hey, this case could come back as fast as the SEC files the appeal. So I really do think it's critical that ultimately we see XRP get to this October 7th date within the symmetrical triangle so that it can ultimately get the benefit from the market understanding that XRP is officially not a security and this case is now officially behind us. So I know it's annoying, right? The case is already over and we're still waiting for more dates, but ultimately October 7th will be the date where we have final clarity on what the move is going to be going forward. Now, I said this in the beginning, but I think it's important to understand. XRP will break out of this thing eventually, and it might be able to break out regardless of if the case is still going on. I just think that's an important date for ultimately taking a weight off our shoulders. We have to remember that despite the case going on, XRP still got to $2 in 2021. And at this point, we had no idea what was going on with the case. We had no idea if XRP would be called a security or not. We were in the midst of things, and XRP was still able to find this volatility. Now, I believe the case being off our back is going to make things a lot easier in terms of institutions deciding, hey, we want to work with XRP. I think getting this case out of the way is going to make things like a Ripple IPO and an XRP ETF a lot more likely. And I think these are the kinds of events XRP really needs to really go mainstream and show everyone in the crypto world who's been ignoring XRP, hey, this thing is real. It's not stopping anytime soon. And with the case behind us, there is likely going to be a lot more positive developments in the XRP community going forward. So I have no doubt that all these fundamentals are ultimately going to play out for XRP. Court cases don't last forever, but the second we find out whether or not the SEC is appealing this case, and hopefully not appealing this case, that is going to be the moment a lot of these positive developments can start flowing into XRP. I've talked about this before on the channel. I think a lot of these positive developments have been suppressed. I think announcements have been backlogged. I think institutions are waiting. I think a lot of this stuff is prepared, but ultimately they want the case completely gone. An institution does not want to work with Ripple only for there to be an appeal, and then they're back in the case and they're back in this position where they're saying, okay, well, now we have to pause and wait until this thing is over again. So 60-day window is what I'm watching here. Funny enough, the Bitcoin to XRP price chart is actually saying a pretty similar thing. Multiple times after XRP has bottomed on this price chart, we have seen that XRP has really chopped around for a bit, ultimately before making that big move higher. We can see it obviously happened here. Didn't really happen in 2017, but we did have some chop. We came back down and ultimately got that big pump in 2021 after we retouched the bottom. Right now, XRP is doing a very similar thing on this chart. It still looks really good. It's still reversing. It's still showing that XRP is ready to gain against Bitcoin. But it is not uncommon for XRP to ultimately possibly pull back in here, retouch, go back up, all while we're waiting for that resolution on whether or not the SEC is going to appeal. So it still looks really good in terms of XRP bottoming on this structure, not falling through the bottom, and showing that XRP is ready to make that big move against Bitcoin. But ultimately, XRP clearly needs something more than just the case ending on the surface. I believe institutions are still waiting, like I said, for that final resolution of the SEC not appealing. And it looks like the XRP to Bitcoin price chart is kind of saying, I'm ready to go. Give me a little more so we can ultimately make this big move. Now, if we do think we do have some kind of stall out or retracement on the XRP to Bitcoin price chart like we have had in the past, then it's very possible, right, that it is going to be the fact that XRP trades sideways within this thing prior to getting that ultimate decision on the resolution. So I think right now, XRP is just in a holding pattern. It's waiting for that decision in the case. It's waiting for what's next going forward. And it's waiting to see, hey, are we actually going to put this thing behind us? I want to make this clear, though. I don't think XRP needs any of these things to really go parabolic, really get this volatility. We talked about how XRP did it in 21, and I think it can do it again out of nowhere. But all the things we're talking about in this video are absolutely going to be massively helpful for the future of XRP and providing us an idea and some dates and timeframes for when these bullish cases can really start, and providing us some dates and timeframes for when we can start seeing a lot more of these bullish developments ultimately coming to us. So guys, I think everything looks really good right now. There's no doubt in my mind that the win against the SEC was monumental, and I don't think the SEC has any chance of winning against Ripple at any point in the future, even if they do appeal. But it's important that we put a lot of this stuff behind us, and right now, unfortunately, that's still up in the air. I think Ripple would beat the SEC at the Second Circuit. I think they would beat them at the Supreme Circuit, but I wouldn't want these to happen because ultimately, it's just going to be a drag. We'll see what plays out, but at least now you guys know exactly when we're targeting for an appeal. If there is an appeal, what is the implication of the SEC dragging us through an appeal and how I think that would play out ultimately when we're taking a look at these charts. Guys, thank you so much for coming. I hope you're having a great weekend. And for now, Mickle out.